Hello everyone, I'm back in with another quick Django tutorial video. Today I'm going to be talking about making your own custom filters. Last video I talked about making your own simple tags, so we're going to be working off that same template tags folder, book extras file that we made. So you can go check out that video if you need the context, or you can just copy this file as is and you'll be good to go. So anyway, the example I'm going to go through is I'm going to go over to a book, and I'm going to add a field, the number of pages of the book, and I'm going to make a filter that would display an estimate on how long it would take to read. So it's going to be pretty simple, so I'll get right into it. So we're going to call it read time estimate, and it's going to take a page length. And all this is going to do is going to return, we're going to round it to make it a little better. And I'm just going to, I don't know what the average is, but I'm going to say you can read on average 100 pages an hour. So our answer is going to be in hours. I'm going to round that to 1 decimal. And at the top, I'm just going to do a register again, and instead of simple tag, it's just going to be filter. So it's basically the exact same. Obviously with filters, you're always going to be taking a variable, because if you remember, a filter bases its text output on the screen based off some other parameter generally in the template. So in this case, obviously it's going to be taking page length. In case anyone's following along, I'm just going to go ahead and show myself generating that. So it's going to be, this is in our models under book, and it's going to be page length equals, it's going to be an integer field, and I'll just call it max length 5 because I don't think you're going to have a 100,000 page book. And you got to do migrations for that. It's going to ask for a default. I'll set it to a random number. Let's say the default is, I don't know, 237 pages. Oops. One-off default 237. Okay. We'll go ahead and start the server. So yeah, if you guys weren't aware, oh actually I gotta migrate. So if you guys weren't aware, if you already have an existing entity, all you have to do is add your new length that you, or sorry, not new length, your new attribute that you want, and then you just go into Python, type in Python manage.py make migrations. It'll ask you to put some default values if they are not nullable, and after that, you just do Python manage.py migrate, and it makes it super easy to add new attributes. But I digress. So we have page length. It should have a default value. So I'm just going to go over to our book displays now. Book detail. I'm just going to add a tag at the bottom, and it's going to say number. Oops. Pages. Dot page length. And then it'll be estimated time to read. Book dot. So we're going to take book dot page length. So that's because if you remember from our book extras, we're taking the page length variable, and the way you get that from a filter is you use the pipe character, and the attribute on the left is the variable passed into the filter on the right. So our filter was read time estimate. Read time estimate. And we are forgetting one thing. If you remember, we have to make sure we load our extra tags. Extras. And I believe that should be it. So we have our tag set up. Make sure that works. There we go. Estimated time to, oh, I guess I should make that say hours. And if you remember, we can actually use the Pluraleyes filter. I went over that before. So basically that takes, you can chain filters together. So this is going to take, this value returns 2.4. Pluraleyes, and it should make it say hours. Oops, I put a space. So basically, if you're not aware, Pluraleyes takes a numeric value. If it's greater than 1, it returns an S. If it's less than 1, it will not. Well, I guess if it's a decimal, it will return an S as well. It just makes it easier to read. If this value was 1, it would just say hour. But anyway, that should be that. And there you go. It's working. So making a filter, it's super simple. Just one other thing to mention. With filters, a lot of time you're going to be taking a string. I know in this example, I didn't include it because we're taking an integer. We have to do math to it. But as a rule of thumb, Django has some additional decorators. So in this case, it'd be string filter like that. You got to import it. Yeah, you'd have to import it. I don't need it. But anyway, as a rule of thumb, you want to add the string filter decorator. If you're just taking in a normal string, you know that there won't be any integers or whatever. This because it converts the object into its default string property, and that prevents issues with numbers actually being passed in when it's supposed to be a string and stuff like that. There's a couple other decorators or arguments you pass in for issues with XSS and date times and stuff like that, but those are kind of like specific cases. So yeah, that's basically all I want to touch on. Again, if you have any questions about it, let me know, and I'll see you guys next time.